everyone's favorite Todd Howard officially admits that the Fallout 4 updates were sabotage, Starfield is dead and has absolutely no future, and the Elder Scrolls 6 hopefully will get cancelled because I honestly do not want to see the disaster it's gonna end up being.
To go along with a recent Starfield update as well as studio visit, Todd Howard recently gave several new interviews, and these have actually been pretty informative. They're giving us insights into things we simply haven't heard much about before, like this new Elder Scrolls 6 engine upgrade, the future of Starfield, and perhaps one of the most...
Yes, the engine upgrade. The same engine they upgraded for Starfield, yes. They're gonna upgrade it more. I'm sure it's gonna be great. I'm sure that it's not gonna be a failure.
surprising areas, we get several questions and answers around Fallout 4, including things like broken updates and even that mod storage space increase. Shout out to Mortismal Gaming for actually asking about this during his interview time.
It's like increasing the storage space.
Okay, so, as we all know, maybe you don't know, but I am a Todd Howard superfan, by the way, and a Bethesda superfan. And Todd Howard is absolutely devastated by his height, the issues, the everything. So every time Todd Howard goes and does an interview, there is some trickery always used to make him not be a 5'3" midget. Okay? And as we can see, we can already see a couple of things here. So first of all, for some reason, this actually looks a little bit taller than this. Maybe because this is further back and Todd is further to us. Well, closer to us, I should say. That's a trick that Todd has used before, by the way. And as you can see, there's definitely something here, because if you draw a line here, this is not at the same height as this. So that gives, obviously, Todd a couple of inches. Two, the cushions also seem to be smaller here and bigger here. Also, maybe they look also pretty fluffy, because this guy is deeper in there, okay? But Todd is kind of like hovering above, which makes Todd almost the same height as him. Which is impossible because you can't find two 5'3" men. It's really hot, okay? So, yeah, needless to say, this is another situation where Todd Howard is trying to hide his height. Ah, what a time to be alive. Bless you, Todd.
Something that we kind of put off. There's some internal plumbing we need to do, but it's more so there's a lot of user pain there. So there might be a certain audience that says, I want my storage space increased. This is particularly on Xbox, because when we change it, there's nothing we can do about it. It just trashes all of your storage space. And so there's a lot of user pain there. And so you have your very informed users that are kind of at the top of the pyramid that we're thinking about, but there's a larger one where their game's just gonna break and they have no understanding why, even if we're providing it. So we're still working to smooth that out.
And the answer here is unfortunate, but
the answer here is nothing of value was said.
Also kind of reality as it seems right now. Fallout 4's mod storage space increase was revealed back in October, and the storage space expansion is going to be a problem for more casual users. You have to back up your load order like this, make sure you actually do this for Fallout 4, otherwise when the mod storage space expansion ships, your load order will be wiped. So lots of people are just going to miss that. I totally get.
By the way, that's not a thing that needs to happen. It would be completely avoidable if Bethesda had anyone who actually understood what they're doing. 100%. There is no fucking way that they could not fix that on their end. But chances are Bethesda doesn't have a single person who is actually smart enough and good enough to do these things at this point. One of Bethesda's biggest problems is not only the fact that they're woke and garbage, but it's the fact that they seemingly do not have any single skilled person working for them yet. Their probably most skilled person, ironically, is the floor cleaner lady. Because maybe she does her job well, at least. But judging from the updates on every game that we have had, the fact that they're literally breaking and adding bugs that previously did not exist to Skyrim, that was a thing 2 months ago or 3 months ago at this point, if you missed that. They have no one who is capable of actually doing a coding, it seems like. Or, anything that requires smarts, because they're messing it up. They have been messing it up for years at this point. So, needless to say, Bethesda is incapable of just doing something as simple as that.
Get where Todd Howard is coming from in this quote, but at the same time, the mod storage space expansion also just wasn't a priority, and that's become very clear now. The update has been delayed several times. We're now here in mid-March, and we get another delay a few weeks ago as more time is needed to get things right, which likely means this isn't coming for several more weeks to months still. I would expect after all of these Starfield releases in April, which is probably taking up a lot of the development resources.
Oh boy, I can't wait for these things. I'm sure it's gonna be great. I'm sure.
Right now. So for lots of players, the Fallout 4 anniversary update just added in new paid content or broke some other aspect of their game. The one big, really the biggest community requested feature, more mod storage space, was never mentioned in any of the trailers for the update and only got revealed after the anniversary update went live and broke a bunch of other features. Now, it's been several months, Fallout Season 2 hype has largely died down, and plenty of fans have just moved on while waiting. And even technically, the anniversary update has reduced.
I have not even watched the second season, and I don't even want to watch the second season. I know they ruined Mr. House. I know they ruined Phil. As always, they fucked up everything. And again, I think there's no reason to watch it at this point.
Boost access to mods in the interim. Now mods require about double the required space to actually install. So basically to install a mod, you need double the download size for working space.
Nice.
So if you don't have a bunch of free space available, some mods are just way too big to use now. Not a big deal when you have 100 gigabyte, but a massive issue when you only have 2 gigabytes. So many mods over 500 megabytes are very difficult to get working. User pain is definitely an element, but Bethesda speaks about some of the stuff with an almost rose-tinted glass.
Did my light just flicker?
And I think that broadens the disconnect with fans who are actually experiencing these issues day to day, and many of these fans are still very frustrated. Take Todd Howard here, still with Mortismal, on the broken Fallout 4 updates.
And so just to let people know, like, it's a priority for us. Whenever we see that happening, we're always trying.
How long? How long has Fallout 4 not worked? At this point. How long has it been since the next gen update? Months? Almost a year? Yeah, it's been very long and it's still not working. And when modders made it work by fixing it, Bethesda messed it up again. And by the way, that did that 3 times in a row, which is great.
To do better, and I think we're in an okay place, but again, a lot of room to grow in terms of when we update our games, that nobody is sort of.
By the way, I absolutely love this because this is how dead Bethesda honestly is. No one watching is believing a single word Todd is saying. And everyone is looking at this dude who's just sitting there fucking wagging his tail like a good little pup. Because God Todd gave him this opportunity and he can't say anything to disprove him or call him out for anything. Everyone knows how fake this is. Everyone understands how absolutely fake these people are. How much Todd lies and how much all of these people who still praise Bethesda are fake and lying to you also. It is great. It is absolutely great that almost everyone at this point just understands this. Bethesda doesn't even have fans left.
Seeing that. And there's also the world of like script extenders that kind of piggyback on the executable. That's a tricky one too. We try to give them an early look to sort of prepare for it, but even that's tricky for those groups that do it. But just let people know, we're thinking about that.
I would assume he's lying about that. Every time Todd says, oh, we actually work with the modders and care about the modders, it always turns out to be lies in like a month or two.
Right? We're thinking about script extenders when we're doing things and what is the timing. And, you know, we do our absolute best there.
So, of course, those are all very good things to say. Todd Howard is acknowledging the issues while recognizing they need to improve going forward. But to me, it's really the gravity or lack thereof that marks the gap. The handling of those Fallout 4 updates were some of the lowest points for Bethesda in my eyes, and I think a lot of fans feel this way. To release an update for your game out of nowhere after having nothing for years, break the game with that update, leave it that way for over a year, only to break it again the next year and it takes several more months to fix is genuinely wild. This is a decade-old game and it is becoming temporarily less playable for a lot of people after these updates. It happening this many
What a nice way to say unplayable, temporarily playable. Good job.
times is clearly a symptom of some kind of underlying problem that needs to be fixed. And it's not even like this is totally over yet. Some of the updates and content is still awaited on some platforms. PlayStation 4 lost its DLC access for months, and even still, nobody on PlayStation has access to these freely released creations. Although, hopefully this feedback is being heard, and there are very exciting things on the way. Since launch, Bethesda has been releasing free creations for Fallout 4. We've gotten quite a few of these now, and they're all really cool and genuinely nice additions to the game.
No, they're not.
Several of these are New Vegas themed, some are based around things
Most of them are garbage that you're not gonna use and forget.
from the Fallout TV show, but these are new, high-quality and lore-friendly weapons added into Fallout 4 totally for free. It really does seem like these are getting dropped for free as a response to some of the pushback over so much of the new content being paid. And well, yeah, they aren't on PlayStation just yet. That is supposedly coming still, and whenever that does drop, it'll be a really cool moment as something else is coming to Fallout 4 even still. One thing I can talk a bit about is Fever Dreams, this being the new Nate and Nora creation coming to Fallout 4. We got a small teaser around the anniversary update last year, but I got to see a bit more at my recent studio visit to Bethesda. This is being done by Kingath Creations. They were hired by Bethesda to make it, and they worked with Bethesda to bring back the
Oh boy. So Kinget Creations have been making overhyped, not actually good enough mods for $10, $20, $15, $5 for a while now. And every single channel lies and shills about it being Bethesda tier quality. Well, technically it is because it's pretty bad. It's most of it's complete garbage. They bought college is an absolute joke. The Starfield rocket robot thing is just hilariously dumb, and that's pretty much it. But even if you actually think that these things are fine, which is fine, honestly, if you think like that, it's over. Because the moment Bethesda finds someone who they want to employ because they have created mods, they always turn those people into complete garbage. Because you're not gonna be working in Bethesda long if you're not a yes man, okay? And you can't stand out, probably, because I would assume that the work culture in Bethesda is absolutely beyond toxic, honestly. So everyone who gets hired by Bethesda inevitably becomes completely worthless as, you know, a worker, creator, or whatever you want to call it. They lose all credibility very fast.
original voice actors for Nate and Nora. You know how on all of these Fallout 4 quest mods, they have to reuse dialogue for the voiced protagonist? Yeah, well, this one doesn't. And the team here are taking full advantage of this opportunity. Like I mentioned before, it's being done by Kingath Creations, so many of the members here are the same people to make Sim Settlements 1 and 2. They have a ton of experience in Fallout 4, and being able to actually get the voice actors back is a massive opportunity for some really epic content. And to be clear, this is only possible thanks to Bethesda. Bethesda are the ones who got Nate and Nora back from a funding and access perspective. We got to see a trailer of Fever Dreams at the studio visit, and this looks absolutely awesome. The best part being, it's coming to Fallout 4 totally for free. I have no idea when it's coming out, that wasn't shared, but I have to imagine that this is going to drop with the mod storage space increase, considering that's the only other major thing we're still waiting on for Fallout 4. So well, yeah, I am heavily criticizing Bethesda here for their handling of this situation around these updates and even some of the communication
You may say that, but it doesn't sound like it.
with that, but at the same time, I do think they're listening, and I think there is going to be a time, somewhat soon, where Fallout 4 has increased mod storage on console, slightly less bugs than before, and we have gotten several really cool free releases from Bethesda, including what seems like it'll be one of the most unique mod or creation experiences so far with Fever Dreams. I'm not entirely sure how big or small this project will end up being, but it's coming for free, so it's really hard to complain. And we also saw a bit of this on the Starfield side with the recent Trackers Alliance update. This originally dropped for $7 as one mission and some items and got a ton of pushback. It just wasn't worth that money. But now they've updated it over a year later with 5 additional missions and a bunch of additional items. All of this included in the same exact purchase, so it's just more value for the $7, 6 missions instead of 1. I do
Still not value enough.
hope there's a similar thing happening right now for Fallout 4, that the game actually ends up in a better spot after all of this, actually taking in some of the feedback from fans. Bethesda constantly says they're always listening and reading what fans have to say, and while things have been handled somewhat
Yeah, I do not believe that in the slightest. No one with a brain does.
poorly thus far and taken way too long, I am still hopeful that we end up in a better spot. But of course, the main purpose of a lot of these interviews was Starfield. And many are wondering what's next for that game. This new freelance update looks really interesting, but it has
No,
been
it does not.
17 months since Shattered Space. I do think it's fair to wonder when the next batch of content might be coming, even after all of this stuff coming in April. Thankfully, while speaking to Mortismal Gaming, Todd Howard does confirm more is coming to Starfield.
No, definitely not the end. You know, I think particularly going into our games now, we see how many people play them for so long that, you know, the trick for us is to be developing a new game like TES 6, while also supporting, you know, big audiences we clearly have in Fallout and Starfield, etc. And so, no, definitely not the end for Starfield. We're excited about this release. We've started to work on and plan, so we call it like the next year 3, but that may come in different formats.
I think that quote is actually pretty interesting and even quite a bit telling, as Todd Howard mentioned that year 3 might come in different formats for Starfield. The Starfield presentation itself was given by Tim Lamb, who seems far more active in the day-to-day development of the game, and he mentioned how
Oh yeah, this is recycled news. It does not matter. So Starfield's cooked because the new update, the new expansion, whatever you want to call it, is gonna be a disaster, and I mean everyone is expecting it. I want to know how bad it is. Is it on the same level of bad as House Varun or not? Honestly, and the Elder 6 big tech upgrade. Ooh wow, ooh.
Howard. But of course, the title many are most curious about right now when it comes to Bethesda is The Elder Scrolls 6. And
This looks nice. Is this the mobile version, honestly, or is this a different game? What is this?
we actually got
But this does not look bad.
a great update
Admittedly, it looks completely fake.
to something recently changed around The Elder Scrolls 6. All the way back in 2016, Todd Howard revealed that they were working on The Elder Scrolls 6 to Jeff Keighley, but said the tech wasn't even ready yet.
You know, I have to be careful what I say. It's a very long way off. I could sit here and explain the game to you, and you would say, that sounds like you don't even have the technology. How long is that going to take? And so it's something that is going to take a lot of time, what we have in mind for that game.
And we
By the way, this puts Elder Scrolls 6 now on. I don't think I talked about this previously, did I? I don't think. So here it is. So saying the fact that your engine is not ready means that you at least have like 1 or 2 more years of work on it. And creating a game means that you create a story, you create what you want to kind of do, and then you create it in the engine. Which means Elder Scrolls 6 at this point, if we believe what Lying Todd is saying here, which I don't honestly, Elder Scrolls 6 may be 7 years away. Like, I don't know, 7-8 years away at this point if the engine is not actually even ready. Yes. Do with that information what you will. It is what it is.
actually did get an update on this a couple of years later. Back in 2018, Jeff Keighley was back with Todd Howard and asked if the tech was there now.
Oh, wow. You know, Jeff Keighley, Todd Howard's friend. Ooh, I'm sure there's going to be a great interview with the very little lies. Jeff Keighley, also the guy who promoted Highquad as the next big thing. Ooh.
It's getting closer.
Okay. What is your vision? I'm sure you don't want to say a lot about it, but I mean, what's the type of technology that you were looking to?
Now, granted, I don't think Jeff Keighley promoted Highquad because he's an idiot. I think he promoted Highquad because Tencent paid him to. Huge difference.
Bring to life to be able to make.
I don't want to spoil anything yet. I think the teasers that we put out they're kind of A, announcing the game, and B, ones of tone.
Yep.
You know, how does the game feel? You know, hints at where it's set for both of them, both Starfield and Elder Scrolls 6.
Okay, look at this. Holy shit. Look, I mean, look at this. Look at this. You see these legs? Okay, I'm gonna move my camera. There. Okay, look at this, Whoop, whoop, and this is like whoop and whoop, okay? Holy hell, this is not even close. Look at how closer to the... Well, how is this even a thing? How is this even a thing? Like, what the hell is going on here? Is Jeff Keighley's not small. What the hell? Admittedly, he's looking at him. Is it eye level? I don't think it's eye level. Hard to tell, but what the hell is going on here? Or maybe this is just it's hard to tell. Oh my god.
Both Starfield and Elder Scrolls 6.
And since this has just been there in many of those Elder Scrolls 6 discussions, wondering what exactly this all meant. What was the tech? More powerful consoles? Are we waiting for...
I mean, no one actually cares.
For the next gen even still? Or was it some kind of new other technology related to gaming overall, or maybe even just the engine getting upgraded? But thankfully, during his recent interview, Mortismal Gaming asked Todd Howard once again, is the tech there yet?
No, I mean, that's a very old comment, and it has nothing really to do with the availability of hardware. It has to do just with where we're at internally, with our own engine, what we want the games to do. You know, Starfield was clearly a big step, and the basis for...
A big step towards Oblivion, a base, true and real, Todd?
Creation Engine 3 that we're working on right now. To do everything we want to do for that game.
So finally, Todd Howard clarifies that what he really meant was their engine being in the right spot for their games, and in this case, the engine being in the right spot for their vision of the Elder Scrolls 6. This, of course, being a vision that Todd Howard was talking publicly about all the way back a decade ago now. Although the response here does make it seem like this is no longer a problem. The tech is
Yes, surely.
finally there. And we've also just recently learned that the Elder Scrolls 6 is using Creation Engine 3. Starfield was notable because it was the jump to Creation Engine 2. And Todd Howard even mentioned having difficulties with that engine upgrade. But during this
Wait, this is such bullshit. I already explained why the Starfield Engine 2.2 and Elder Scrolls 6 Engine 3, it doesn't make any sense. So, if the third engine is almost here, why the hell did they release Starfield? Are you telling me they started making the engine, finished making the engine, instantaneously started making the third engine? Because that's how the timelines go. It's either a lie that the third engine is even in development, which seems very plausible considering none of these timelines make any sense, or they wasted time making the second engine and then instantaneously started making the third engine for some reason, which doesn't make sense considering the second engine recently got a fucking upgrade. Why would you upgrade an engine that you're gonna make obsolete in like 2 or 3 years? Nothing about the engine stuff makes sense. Everything is clearly a lie because it logically doesn't track. The time frame just does not work for anything here. How are you making the third one if you just finished the second one? Why are you upgrading the second one if the third one is almost here? Nothing just checks out. So something's a massive lie here. And I think the massive lie is the fact that the Creation Engine 3 is even remotely ready. I think that they recently just started working on the Creation Engine 3 because no one really liked the fucking engine that they did for Starfield because of the load screens, the literal everything, right? Because of that, I think they just decided, no, we need a new engine because if we make Elder Scrolls 6 with the same issues, technical issues that are undeniable, okay? Todd and Emil can lie about the story as much as they want. It's fine. Lie to your heart's content, losers. But the engine? That's just fact. They can't lie about that. Because they are lying to themselves at that point, and they see evidence against themselves. So that's all BS. So fun stuff. What honestly can I say about this? In any case, oh, that was Juicehead. The Creation Engine 3 updates. Honestly, who cares? Have a nice day. Bye.